Are you wondering how to get into the high ticket sales world and what it really takes to be successful? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down the exact journey which took me from a broken, introverted mechanical engineering student all the way to making 50K per month and more in my own business, traveling the world. This year I've been to 5 countries, working on some of the biggest sales teams like Cole Gordon with Closers.io, Alex Becker with Hyros. I've worked with JK Molina, a 7-figure team. I've worked with Eli Wild, who's done $100 million in sales, and working with Rudy Maurer's team. So just some really big names. And so I've been getting a lot of people ask me, hey Ben, how did you do that? So in this video, I'm gonna break that down. So stick around. Just before we dive into the steps, the best, most actionable advice on high ticket sales, mindset, high performance habits, make sure you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're alerted whenever I make new videos, because I'm gonna be going hard on YouTube. I'm gonna take this whole game over and it's gonna be awesome. So hit the subscribe button. Okay, so back in 2015, I had just graduated from mechanical engineering. I was introverted as hell. I specifically went into engineering so I wouldn't have to get into sales because I just never thought I could do that. Both my parents are actually entrepreneurial, like from the get-go. Me, not so much. I wasn't one of those kids like out there, like the Gary V's of the world who are like making $1 bajillion by the time they're 15. That just wasn't me. I was living a normal life. So I had no sales experience whatsoever. So I was going to school for mechanical engineering, and I realized one day that this was just not the path for me. I wanted to make money. Before that, I was just working dead-end jobs, but I was just not seeing it with mechanical engineering. And that was right around when Tai Lopez was popping off in 2013, 14, 15. You know, the Here in My Garage guy.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini.
And so I was watching this and going, you know what? I want to travel the world and make all this money and date all these girls and stuff. And business seemed to be the path for me. And so I started reading all these books. Like I got tons of books behind me. Every single book said you got to learn sales. And so I was like, crap. I guess I have to learn sales. What's the fastest way to learn something? My mind said you need reps. So that was either cold calling or door to door. I live in a small town in Canada called Halifax. I moved to Toronto, big city. I was like, well, I can probably get a mechanical engineering job here at least. And so I was cold calling mechanical engineering firms saying, hey, do you guys need an engineer? And they'd be like, no, this is weird. Nobody knocks on doors and stuff. Like, go away. So I was like, damn. Anyway, I ended up applying, went on Indeed. I found a company that was selling solar door to door called Solar Brokers Canada in Toronto. And so I was like, wow, that sounds cool. I liked the idea of selling solar. I decided earlier that I was going to master sales, whatever it took. And then I also decided that door to door was one of the best vehicles to do that because I would just get so many more reps in than someone who was like a car salesman who might talk to 15, 10, like 20 people a day. I was like, well, if I could talk to 100, I would just learn that much faster. And so even though I was super introverted, I still took a very logical approach. So before going on, I'm curious, what do you sell and what got you into sales? I would love to know, drop it below. So eventually, after getting doors slammed in my face, getting chased by German shepherds, getting threatened by big dudes that looked like hillbillies with baseball bats and shit, I was like, enough is enough. Door to door, this sucks. I started reading books again and trying to make it easier. And I came across this book which spoke about copywriting and direct response marketing. It's like, hey, people can come to you if you learn this skill. And that kind of took me on a different trajectory for a while. I ended up moving back to Halifax. I decided to become the world's best freelance copywriter. And so for the next 3 years, I decided to go all in on freelance copywriting. So I started working at an agency for a couple months. My boss was a total dick. And on Christmas Day, I quit because he was calling me up for projects that were supposed to be finished. I was like, I'm done, I quit. I went all in on freelance copywriting. I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to make it work. I had one client pay me $14 an hour. And so for the next year and a half, living with my girlfriend, just stressing her out, I had a job on the side selling recruiting. And then I was trying to sell my own copywriting services all day, just working like 15 hours a day. And I slowly started figuring out, getting bigger and bigger clients, getting more and more experience. It was hard as hell, but eventually I partnered up with my buddy Ryan. Ryan and I joined forces. I had the copywriting and the sales. He had just recently sold his e-com store, so he had a lot of knowledge around like running ads and things of that nature. So we were like, hey, why don't we work together? We just created an agency working with financial advisors, and this was my first, I would call this my first high ticket sales gig. So I started closing these guys. We were running organic marketing and running ads to attract financial advisors who wanted marketing services. I would jump on the phone with them, close them for like $5,000, $7,500, eventually $15K. And eventually Ryan had a big Twitter following at the time. He put it out there that, hey, like this is what we're doing to grow our agency, yada, yada, yada. People were started getting interested. And eventually a few people were like, hey, can you help us? He launched a program, and then we started coaching on the side along with our agency. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And I realized I hate financial advisors, but I like coaching. And eventually we just went full time into the coaching, grew that to like 50, 60K per month. That was great for a few years. Ryan ended up getting burnt out on the coaching and he moved away. He moved to like Ukraine. But anyway, within that time, we joined a mastermind, which was like $30,000. So a decent sized investment because I grew up poor. But in this mastermind, Cole Gordon, for example, used to be the closer there as Traffic and Funnels Mastermind. And Cole's current partner was another business owner in that mastermind who we had connected. And little did I know, like 2 years later, I would be getting an invite from this guy, his name was Brian, to come and sell for Cole. So basically, a lot of people are like, well, like how do I get on these big teams? For me, it's funny because Cole Gordon's team, which is one of the biggest teams in the industry, that was my first sales team that I was ever on. Working for Cole for a whole year, it gave me so much experience, such a work ethic that I didn't have before, and just really built my reputation in the industry so that when I left that team, Cole was like, hey, do you want to go work for Alex Becker, grow his setting team? I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, hey, do you want to go work with Eli Wild? I had previously taken Eli's course, and our sales went from like 30K per month to like 50K the next month. So I'd already like been a huge Eli fan. Anyway, I started getting all of these opportunities, not because I was cold DMing people, but because I put myself in the right room. Like that mastermind originally connected me to the right people. And then I just worked on my skills and my reputation. So reputation is one of the biggest ones. There's no way to shortcut a reputation. You just have to put in the reps. You have to keep building your skills. You have to keep connecting with people. And that's all you have to do. And then from there, once I left Cole's team, like I had really good months. You know, I generated as much as $250,000 per month for Cole's team. I was just grinding the phones all day, just doing like hundreds of dials, you know, working like 15-hour days, just like putting in so much work. And by the time I left, I would just get offers. So a lot of people that are like, how do I get an offer? That's how you do it. So anyway, now I've kind of gone full circle back to coaching, back to putting out content and stuff. But that was my journey for the past few years. When I was coaching, I had hundreds of clients, and then working on these biggest sales teams. You know, it's all been pretty cool. But overall, learning sales, mastering sales, it's not something that just happens from, you know, reading a book. You have to keep investing into your own skills. Because when I joined Cole's team, I'd already gone through a lot of mentorship and a lot of courses and a lot of coaching programs and stuff like that. I had invested like $100,000 into my skills, and I thought I was the best. When I joined Cole's team, I was like, oh man, there's another level. And that continually happened the more and more I stayed in the industry. So wherever you are right now, just understand that there's always another level to where you could be. If you're closing at 50%, there's somebody who's doing 60, 70, 80, 90. It's always like that. So that's the biggest tip, is just don't stop learning. Okay, so for me, sales has been one of the best things I could have ever done. Being able to travel the world, getting out of my shell, making the money, connecting with people. It's just given me the path to live that life that I've always wanted. Now that you know step by step what I did to get into this world, it's time to put it into practice. They say time is money, right? You might have heard this expression, time is money. That's actually not true, because you can spend all your money and then it will come back eventually. But if you spend all your time, it's over. You can never buy it back, right? So if you want to shortcut your learning curve, for me, it took 8 years to get where I'm at, and it was a lot of hard work. Rather than spend 8 years or more to get to the place that you want to be in your business and in your sales career, click that link below, schedule a call with me. We can talk, and if I can help, cool. If not, I'll at least try to point you in the best direction. But whatever happens, I'm happy to connect with my subscribers. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe link if you haven't already, like this video, and I will catch you in the next one, all right? Thanks for watching.